jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner, so head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the wait's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. It's time, get up.
Hey everybody, welcome to the ESL Mobile Challenge. I'm Uwu the Magical, joined by me, the man of the magical time, AJ the Mustachio. We are back with Brawl Stars and we are back with the final week itself. It's interesting as today we will find out who will be the best of the best on top, because we have the dream matchup. We have the matchup that everyone has been waiting for, and I think AJ yourself, you can't wait to see. It will be Zeta division going up against Kicks going up Covalence Reform. But what do you think? I think you have a lot of expectation, a lot of things being said way before the matchup even begin.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, when we're talking about Covalence Reform as well as Kicks team, this is a do or die matchup for them, right? But once again, let's take a quick recap here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The 8 teams that had qualified to the challenge in a single round robin best of 5 so far in the competition. Just like Uwu has mentioned, this is the final week. Today and tomorrow will wrap things up. Icebarn, Covalence Reform, Asphyxia, Zeta Division, Team Flash, Lil Moyaji, Kicks team, as well as Crazy Lagoon. Each and every single one of these 8 teams have shown us such a great time in the competition so far, Uwu. But you know, not all of them have been able to thrive like Lil Moyaji, right? Each and every single one of their matchup, they've taken that 3-0 and they seem to be absolutely solid to head into the playoffs. But some teams like Asphyxia, they have been struggling at the bottom.
Yep, definitely struggling a lot. But let's take a look of the standing and let everyone have a refresh what have happened throughout the whole challenge. Lil Moyaji is still standing defeated with 18 points, 0 losers. Zeta Division, they dropped one just because they can't make it to the game, but it's still fine for them because they clinch on to the set 15 points. But in third and 4th placing is going to be really interesting because it's Team Flash and Icebarn both tied up with 9 points, 3 win, 3 loss each. Meanwhile, Crazy Lagoon sticks with the 5th, 6th and 7th, tying things up with Kicks team, Covalence Reform. This is do or die moment. Who wants to make it into the top? Maybe it will be another team, but we have to figure it out this week as they tie things up with 6 points. At the bottom of the standings will be Asphyxia. They have been struggling, but it has been a very good journey. They might be eliminated, but it's all about the experience. They came in as an underdog, feel like they did their best, but going up against the stack team is going to be real hard. But today, the game modes, it will be 6 game modes, but only 5 will be played. Bounty, Jam Grab, Siege, Heist, and Hot Zone. These are the game modes that is available. But what we have to look at the map rotation itself, and the map rotation is going to be really interesting. I would love to see what is the map rotation, and there you have. We start with a very feisty Jam Grab at Jam 4, then we move to a bit more casual, a bit more fun to see center stage with Brawl. Then we open up ourselves to Purple Paradise for the side of the do or die. If not, we will make the Ring of Fire for Hot Zone, and if it goes to the 5th game of the day, it will be Siege, but at some assembly required. AJ, what do you think about the map rotation?
Oh, I think, this is just going to test all of these teams in every single aspect possible, especially their mechanical capabilities with the third map. It's all wide in the open. It's all going to be about how you manage the distance between yourself as well as your opponents. You need to know not just your own brawlers, but you need to know your opponents as well. You need to know the reach that, your opposing brawlers have in such an open map like this, because you don't get to run away and hide. You don't get to play cover as well. So the drafting for a setup like this definitely will be really interesting. I mean, we are definitely looking at Sandy as well as Genie, being the favorites to jump on in here. Leon is definitely going to be a definite favorite for that map number 3. But, will that be the final map within the first series itself, right? Kicks team taking on Covalence Reform. This is going to be do or die, Uwu. Both of these teams, they are tied up with 6 points with Crazy Lagoon in the 5th, 6th, as well as 7th spot. Winning this can put them on the same position as Team Flash as well as Icebarn, right? So both of these teams need it, but only one team will be able to make it through. And that is not 100% qualified through to the playoffs, because they still do fall into the tiebreaker. Of course, providing Team Flash and Icebarn do not win their sets tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Kicks team brings things up. This is going to be the top picks and the top bands that they have brought in. Byron Bell, Leon, the top picks. Meanwhile, top band for their side will be Shelly and Mortis. So this could be a very, very different gameplay, since that we do have an update recently. Just last week dropped a bit of change up. But let's take at their matchup. They are going up against Covalence Reform, Roses and T-Res. You have to be careful of how they play things out, because we have seen so many times Roses is able to pick up, is able to get around the backline, try to do the most, but we have to see with their top picks, Max, Surge, Ash, and their top bands, Ash and Byron. We'll see, could they pick up the Ash, especially Ash being buffed up a lot? Could they pick up another brawler? We have to see. There's a lot of brawls being tossed around. And just talking about the Mortis, I've got a bit of nerf due to the healing itself. But Ash, we have seen a very, very significant buff itself. So could this be the brawler they are looking for? And also talking about Frank, we have seen they have been buffing Frank to the point that is quite big, and this will be the banned brawlers that both teams will not be using. Shelly, Dynamite from the side of Kicks team will be banned, so Covalence Reform can't use those brawlers. Meanwhile, Covalence Reform banned off Max and Tara, so that they take out some of the DPS, some of the damage output, and some of the brawler's capability that can flank around. That's a really smart. They want to protect the back line. Meanwhile, Kicks team, they do not want to suffer to a combo wombo. They to go face up with a very high output damage brawler. So banning the Shelly is going to be a very, very, especially how Shelly has been buffed recently, and Shelly is a bit more tankier. So picking out Shelly, it's going to be a very, very viable option, and they can set themselves up if they pick up the Shelly. So I'm really, really interested to see how they are going to start off the day and how they're going to kick it off, because both teams needs to hold on to what they have, give all they can in today's match, because this is going to be the final matchup. They need the win, they need the green, they need the 3 points to even have a chance to stand into the top 4. So Kicks team, Covalence Reform, I'll say the match 50-50, but we have to put a say to it. It feels like it's all boils down to the brawlers that they pick, they bring into the game, and especially the right brawlers that they need to pick for the map rotation itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you bring up a great point there, right? When we drop on into Gem Fort itself, it's all gonna be about those snipers. Those long-range activations are all what these players will be looking for. The Sprout is gonna be an amazing brawler to jump, drop on into this first map. He's not gonna be banned out, and he will truly be a game changer, right? But of course, there are a few countermeasures to this as well. If you can take down the defenses from that midsection of that map, then you also get to open it up, but you also have to make sure that you do have your ranged brawlers in motion as well. So you are absolutely correct, man. It is all going to break down to exactly what sort of a composition these teams bring on in here. But based on what we've seen so far, Kick's team, they've been, I wouldn't say the best team in the competition, but they also have put up quite a number of good fights in here so far. I mean, we saw the fight that they took on against Asphyxia as well as Icebun. In particular, the matchup against Icebun, where they really did shine through. But apart from then, they didn't really manage to step up. They've just been having very tough matches. Truly, the punishment that they and unfortunately not really show up really well. So today is going to be a big day for them.
Yep, definitely be a big day for the side of Kick's team. They definitely have to pick up the ball. They definitely have to put all they can the meta that they Icebun and bring something that is really solid. I'm not sure are they going to bring the Brock in, because the Brock has been nerfed slightly due to the projectile has reduced projectile speed to the current previous speed by 11%. So projectile might be slower. They might not want to take that risk, but the damage output is still there. So it might be a viable option, but it's going to be a double-edged sword. And looking at how crew being buff out, a lot of the brawlers that we have seen being more of a assassin, being a backline jumper, has been buffed slightly to the point where they are able to be more viable in some fight as well. And I want to see how are they going to bring things out. Are they going to run the Ashe and the Buzz together? Are they going to bring the Frank in, even though Frank has been buffed significantly? So it's going to be very interesting. Tankier, all this up in your face kind of brawler, bring in the fight and bring the brawl into the game. So Kick's team, Covalence Reform, just looking at their final matchup for the whole challenge. It's going to be really interesting because it's quite split in between. Especially you look at the map rotation, how it starts off. You go with Jam Grab and Jam on Jam Fort. It's quite a back and forth game. Then you move on to a very, I would say, high octane phase game where you go into Brawl Ball. It's more fun. It kicks your mentality away a bit, because even though it's going to be a serious tournament between, but everyone who jumps in the Brawl Ball, they'll think of it, it's going to be back and forth. We are kicking the ball around. Yes, we do play aggressive gameplay, but you move on to Bounty later on. It resets your mindset, it resets the gameplay and the tempo itself. Like the players itself, they have to really adapt to this change of tempo, because it's going to be a really game breaking for the first 3 games itself.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Byron here being brought out by Orca. Let's see exactly what they will have on towards the left-hand side. It will be that Rico taking on Rico. So that's going to be quite an equal matchup. But so far, it is the side of Kick's team getting a majority of this stuff done in that left-hand side of that map, as Awfully Bad wins his fight. It will be the opener, but the right as well. So Kick's team really managing this fight great from the get-go.
Yup, definitely Kick's team managing the game plan, managing the fight. It's a powerfully bad will be brought down. 4 gems each for both teams. But Stage putting on the assault. Wax still holding on, but Rose goes into the enemy, pops out. It's Stage has to back it. Okay, Wax to join back, so they are able to go for the onslaught, but it has dropped to the side. of Covalence holding on to the lead. Stage picks once out. Vex moving on, going straight. That is a clean one. They clean the floor. The countdown has started. Covalence Reform is on the back foot. They have to find a way to make out a comeback. That's one stage being brought down, but he doesn't have the gem. They have to stop Vex backing up for safety. That is it for Vex, clinching the first win, the first point of the day. That's a good start for the side of Kick's team. But is this the momentum that Covalence Reform is going to bring in? Because if this is the momentum, Kick's team will have fairly an easy game for them to break and boil down how Covalence Reform plays. So Kick's team, if the good defense, they put on a good assault, a good rotation between the brawlers, knowing when to reset. But Covalence Reform, if as you say, the matchup with the Rico is kind of fair, but then they are losing ground in the mid phase and then on the right flank as well. And Covalence Reform, we are not seeing the super hyper aggressive of Rose and awfully bad yet. I think they are still warming up to the game, but Kick's team have to make sure they keep Covalence Reform in check.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, the biggest difference in there was the matchup between the Sandy as well as Ash. The only difference in there. And Sandy played those sandstorms pretty well, but you're not really going to have much of a range, and it was way too easy for that Ash to back away. In a full-on team fight like that, 3-on-3, you throw an Ash into the equation, the guy absorbs all of the damage, and then he just deals out, he explodes on you. It was the perfect attempt to go in there, steal away all of those gems, and then run away. It was just perfection out of the side of Kick's team. Now let's see if or not Covalence Reform will be able to respond this time through. Ems will be brought out. Roses going in for one more pump and takes down that Colonel Ruffs onto that right-hand side. And Vex will be able to win onto that left-hand side as well. But let's see if or not that trade will be able to keep them away. And Covalence Reform struggling from the get-go.
Yep, Covalence Reform, they had a slight good offer start, but everything just went downhill. It looks like Kick's team, they changed the composition around Vex this time, playing onto the left lane, playing on a different brawler itself, and it feels like it throws Covalence Reform. They kind of like struggle to pick up their game plan right now, because like they're just looking at Kick's team, knowing to change up, knowing to turn things around, and the pressure and the map presence that they have is all around Fix Covalence. It forces Covalence Reform at the back, and the has started. Covalence Reform not starting on a good note, and looks like Kick's team, they might just walk away with the second one in the back for themselves. That is easy peasy lemon. Kick's team.
Yep.
As how they start, they end things pretty fast.
Yeah, I think, earlier on and right now, Kick's team, they've just been playing that range fight really, really well, right? Early on, it was that Byron controlling that mid segment. Now, this time around, they bring that B in. And, the biggest potential that B has in here is to be able to keep all of her enemies in that back line through all of those range attacks, right? I mean, very well played. Kicks was being very defensive. B, super aggressive at the get-go. And with the amount of damage that her shots can deal and supercharges bring through those matches, she will be able to hold herself quite well. And I think that was just a fight well managed all the way through. Well played by the side of Kicks.
Yep. Definitely agree with you. Zone play coming from the side of Kicks. Really perfection, as you were saying about the B, able to hold on to the mid section, zoning the brawlers from the side of Covalence Reform at the back line. Covalence Reform just falls into the hand of Kick's team. They falls into the tempo, they falls into the game plan, and definitely Kick's team, they keep up with this kind of aggression and defense. Feels like they can just walk in and swipe Covalence Reform for the 3 points. And I think Kicks, if they continue this, they might be able to capture that 3 points, and they might be able to move on really easily. But Covalence Reform, I feel like they're still forming up. They still have something in the back, but they have to pull it out. They have to go for the Hail Mary. They have to throw everything out, because this is their last matchup. Because like, if they lose today, there's no more games for them to play, and Kicks team is the only and the last obstacle that they have to get even a slight chance into the top 4.
Yeah, absolutely right. So today, do or die. Both of these teams in the exact same position right now, and both of these teams are looking for that one spot, for that one win. Like you've said it, Ubu, only one can make it through, right? This time round, it will be that Byron in that mid segment once again, as Kicks team goes in for the push. Wex, he will be bringing in the Piper play onto that left-hand side. Rico from the side of Roses, but the Colonel Ruffs will be having all of those shots to take that fight up against Ricochet, and this is just the side of Kicks team just going out there and ruling this fight pretty well, Ubu.
Yeah, they are ruling the fight, one kill after another. They play super defensively in the start, and then they start to control the map. They take out the brawler one by one. Orca just landing his shot one by one. It's like Covalence Reform. They're just giving the game to the side of Kicks, and they're giving the Gem Spawner as well. Stitch, the Byron sits
Oh my lord.
uncontested in the Wax, keeping all the brawlers in check. And I'm not sure, it just feels like this goes into the hand, and it also goes into the experience that Kicks team have. They have been playing so much, they have been doing all they can, and the countdown starts. Could this be the end? Could this be the bane for the side of Covalence Reform? The name that is the bane is Kicks team.
The defense from Colonel Ruffs just way too solid. Orca shuts down Roses once again all the way towards the very end. Colonel Ruffs was just instrumental down that right-hand side, but in no way at all, or in no position at all, was that Piper not getting enough damage done, right? All the way through, Piper popping off onto the left. Byron was, just so aggressive down that mid segment, and he could be aggressive because he was managing his fights really well. And then Genie, with that, unfortunately moderate HP, cannot go and take such a straightforward fight, needs to wait for the backup. But with the wings just not getting any of those fights done well, they just weren't able to step up front. I mean, M's being brought forth was quite the good idea in terms of controlling those hidden areas, but Colonel Ruffs was the perfect response for that fight. I mean, that Colonel Ruffs, he had the range to get M's out of the equation, and time again, he had the defense there as well to block this path. So, I mean, in every single way, they played this to perfection, Ubu.
Yep, it feels like Kicks have the counter attack to whatever Covalence Reform bring onto the table, and Covalence Reform, they are getting thrown off by all these kind of rotation brawlers, rotation of players positioning, and it just basically throws off the that Covalence Reform have. They have an idea, they try to question of team, but it feels like Kicks team every single time question being thrown out, they have an answer, they have a solution, and each every individual from the side of Kicks team is able to answer the problem is being thrown out from the side of Covalence Reform. They have to move into Brawl Ball, they have to kick the ball around, they have to buy some time. I feel like Brawl Ball is going to be the game where Covalence Reform has to take it slow, think about it. It doesn't need to 100% focus into that game. They can pick one up, but at the same time use that timing to think, how are you going to stop Kicks team on game 3? How are you going to stop Kick, win game 3 and win game 2? How do you stop them in game 4 itself? So Covalence Reform, take it slow, but play the tempo, and I feel like Kicks team might be able to hold on to that.
Oh well, Covalence just taking such an aggressive game up here. Stitch needs to hold on, but now has to back away. And unfortunately for him, awfully bad just steps in, snuffs him out. The attack coming through once again. Roses will be able to walk this right all the way through. A goal scored by Covalence Reform with such aggression up front. Now, what can they do? Will they be able to take that second goal up in here as well? It will be a good shot coming through, and Rosa will get taken down, but the Poco in that mid segment will go go in for that fast, try to keep the pressure up. Orca, the Stu not letting Poco get away, but he still manages to get exactly that done. They still survive, but the battle now, Roses pushing it up. Ooh.
Yup, look, Covalence reform. They went for the comfort play, they went for the comfort positioning and game plan itself to hyper aggressive out from the gate, put the pressure onto Kicks team. I love the game plan. Kicks team, they are bouncing back, they are turning things around. It feels like Covalence reform. They can play the time, they can play this really slow, they can play the game possession, not leaving the ball to the side of Kicks team, but it feels like Kicks team, they have the ball, they can make the advancement, but the brawlers from the side of Covalence Reform is back. They can set up a good defense. T-Raz soaking up all the damage, but he's alone right now. This is chance that can they get anything out of it, but who? The game plan coming from Covalence Reform, taking the ball, putting at the corner, forcing Kicks team to go on the aggression. They know Kicks team aggression can be punished. This is where Covalence Reform, they have to play the best defense. They have to force this out, but all have no can stop this, and that's a goal. Tie things off. That's an equalizer. Could be going to going for the that might make the biggest difference for the side of Covalence Reform.
Well, the attack is being taken up quite well in here. It's all equaled up. And let's go on over to overtime, but such an easy goal taken by Orca. And I don't know whether that was lucky or just a perfect setup, because they timed that to perfection, Uwu.
Yep, Orca timed it to perfection. He knows the countdown is coming down. He knows a few more seconds it will be in overtime. He just waited. He went in, he buzzed through it, and he is in front of the goal. He just waited for a few seconds. He just wait. Why not just wait for a few seconds? It's okay for them to respond, but I'm going to score the goal. I'm going to score the winning point for the team. And Kicks team realize opportunity, punishing the hyper aggression from the side of Covalence Reform. I like the game plan from the aggression from the get-go, from the gate open.
Yeah.
But after that, they start throwing body. They start getting punished. They didn't fall back for the problem. That gave Kicks team the window of opportunity to take the lead, to take the ground, to play the map control, and Covalence Reform. If they were to do the hyper aggression meta again, they have to reset whenever they can, because if they overcommit and no one's there, you can see how far back is the Poco. If the Poco is in the mid section, then you might have that chance, you might have aggression. But the Poco was far back, hanging way back, and it just felt like the support was not there, the heal was not there, and was not good enough for our Covalence. I think hyper aggression is good. Set the tempo, reset whenever they need to, and just take things slow. Just take a breather. Just have maybe a 5-second of a reset. It's fine to reset. It's fine to give a bit of map control to Kicks team, because you can play the hyper aggression. You have to set the utilities good enough to do it so.
Yeah, and it's all about timing, right? I absolutely agree with you, Uwu. The Poco is the instrumental brawler within that fight itself, but you know, the timing just needs to be right. The support needs to be there as well, and they just need to move in as a team. But you know, we just don't see them going in with that flow. Let's see this time round what they will be able to bring. Spike dropping through in here. Brock, you've mentioned already a little bit of a drop in terms of the speed of his projectiles. Let's see exactly how Vex manages this as they break off towards the left-hand side of the map. Neither side touching the ball just yet. Roses with the pressure play. Vex will be able to get it, but gets traded out instantaneously. Stitch on that left-hand side. Are they going to be able to get T-Res? One more shot! And the Spike gets it done. And this is the side of Stitch as well as Vex. They are going in here for that setup. Covalence Reform. They are playing the defense that you talked about. They back away.
Yeah, defense from the side of Covalence Reform, but they have to be careful. The goal has been opened up. No more defense, and it's a straight open Orca. Just a bit cheeky. The goal is look at how Kicks team is playing. Slow the tempo down, open up the map, open up the possession, force Covalence Reform to play a bit more slower, and back on the Brock itself, the projectile that he is bringing out to the field itself, it's slow, but steadily on every single one, but awfully bad. Takes a revenge, they will bring down Stitch as well. Orca, the only one alive, has been on careful. T-Rex holding on, the goal has been open, rolls, passing, but it hits the obstacle, and they get it, but T-Rex and passing out awfully bad. Will score for the equal. Kicks team will have to dictate the tempo, they will have to reset one game. Covalence Reform, that is how they should play it out, but this is going to be really, really important because Kicks team, they have map control, goal is open, Covalence Reform is for them to answer how are they going to play this. Here comes the aggression, okay, that's a good punish from the side of Covalence Reform. T-Rex jumping in, there's a stage still alive, hopefully best still alive, 15 seconds left before going to overtime. They will go for the overtime, play it slow, reset comes in from side of Kicks team. Covalence Reform a bit too aggressive, they don't have the support there. But here comes overtime. Who has the ball? Covalence Reform will have the ball on their side of the pitch. But Kicks team, they are ready for any attack and they are waiting for the counter to be put on Covalence Reform. Hold the ball a bit more. They might want to tie things off. They might want to draw things really, really slow. Force Kicks team overextend, takes the opportunity. 30 seconds left on the clock. T-Rex taken down. That's the opportunity. Rose will take a trade off, but Vex will have a trade, and that could be an open goal. But no, hit the outright post. But Vex with the recovery. That's a good recovery from the side of Kicks team, and Vex scores the golden goal for the side of Kicks team. That's a good lead. That's a good patient game from the side of Kicks. They keep on playing these kind of mind games. I feel like Covalence Reform might get outplayed in this mode.
Yeah, I mean, they are clearly showing that already, right? What an adjustment coming through this time round, playing their time really, really well. And it was all about the super that they were charging up for that very final moment. And then the rocket barrage goes out for the pop. Vex gets that first kill and he opens up that left-hand side of the map. And it's all about exactly how well you play that pressure position, right? Because there is a Brock on the opposing side as well. So one wrong move by Vex and it's all over. And this is exactly what we love about Kicks team. It's the communication, and in order to allow Vex now to aggress up to go pick that ball up, the distraction was played. Yes, they do trade off one person, but the numbers really made sense towards the end. A really, really smart game that they played, but it was quite close. Covalence Reform, I mean, they had a pretty equal matchup. The B was really getting their damage done, but unfortunately it just did not end up their way.
Yep, definitely agree with you. Didn't end up the way that Covalence wants it to be, but it feels like they might want to stick together, even though the opponent, they have a Brock, they have a Spike itself. It's going to be more of an area of damage being done from the side of Kicks team.
Correct.
But they might want to hold on to the line, they might want to hold on to that defense, play it slow, really read out what Kicks team is bringing onto the table. I understand they are trying to force, they try to tie things off and try to get one win for themselves, but Kicks team, you don't underestimate Kicks team. They have the experience. They can outplay you. They can transition whenever they can in the middle of the game, and the communication coming from Kicks team, perfection, as you said. Take down one, they trade off is fine, but the numbers in the end was good enough. The statistic was good enough for the side of Kicks team. And Kicks team, they took the chance, they took the opportunity, they scored the goal. They might be able to grab this game itself. Covalence Reform, they are in the do or die mode. Last chance, last opportunity before going to game 3 itself where they have to fight for survival. Because if they were to drop this and drop the next one, that's it. They are out of it. They are out for the run as the champion for Asia Pacific. So this is going to be a good one for Kicks, but it's going to be a bad one for Covalence Reform.
Yeah, I hope it's a good one for Covalence Reform as well, right? We don't want to see them go down way too quick in here. Like you said, right? Last chance in here before we hop on over to the that, like you know, it's just going to be an absolute bloodbath, you know, all about those mechanical plays. And so far, Covalence Reform, they have been struggling. We haven't seen an exact mirror matchup between the two to pull a direct comparison, but, you know, a majority of those situations, you know, we did have a little bit of a mirror, at least a 70% mirror. Two of those brawlers were matched up. But, you know, they have been doubting themselves a little bit too much. They have not been, you know, as confident as the side of Kicks team. And like you mentioned, early on, there was the over-aggression. When they start pulling back, they start pulling back way too much. This time, though, they will be bringing in the play of that spike as well for that AoE damage. But Vex, on the other hand, with the aggression, while being pushed back by T-Res. What a takedown. And T-Res now going in for the snuff. Second player shut down as well. Roses gets the ball, and a perfect goal from Covalence Reform to come back in here to perhaps take one round back.
Yeah, I love how Covalence Reform is playing the brawlers. I love the positioning, the aggression, but Kicks team responding. Look at Oka. He knows.
My
He
Lord.
knows. Oh, he knows. That's a very, very sneaky one. Oka holding the ball, knowing like, okay, you put on the aggression. We're gonna repay you with the same aggression. We're gonna hold the ball. We're gonna show you the dominance that we have. And this is going to be real. Oh, Vex with the save of the day. That's a good save. Vex going hyper aggressive, clearing it out on the right wing. But meanwhile, Roses in the middle, holding down the anchor. He will be brought down. T-Res, the last man, the last defense for the side of Covalence Reform, waiting for Hopefully Bat to come back. Hopefully Bat will be here with Roses. They will go for the reset. Oh, the bot has been spotted. T-Res pushing in. Can he take one down? Vex has free shot, free rain all over T-Res. T-Res super low, but he will get out of the bot. Oh, Rose, that's good counter from there. But the ball is still in the middle. Oh no, Awfully Bad, he's all alone. Oka Stitch is there, but they have to be a bit more careful. They are waiting for Vex, and here comes the aggression. Covalence Reform, Awfully Bad needs to go back for the reset. He has to go. Oh no, Grass taken down. There is an open opportunity for the side of Kicks team. They might be able to run the ball in. What? They're gonna kick it into the corner, put on the aggression, force Covalence Reform, and they are just looking for the goal that they need. Sneaky. Kicks team outplaying every single move from Covalence Reform. Covalence Reform, I love the aggression, but Kicks team, they have a solution. It feels like they open up a book. Alright, they're gonna play this. This is how they're gonna play. We're gonna counter back. We are gonna show them how we can play the aggressive mode, how we can play the hyper aggressive. This is our game. This is our plane. Kicks team is showing Covalence Reform no mercy.
There was no mercy in there at all. And Covalence Reform, I thought they brought in the aggression this time, right? Because T-Res, he had the burst damage. And he did show us that the burst damage that he brought out was effective in taking down a couple of brawlers, but that was about it. Once that burst damage goes down, that reload, you know, to get into that mode once again is going to be really, really tough. It's going to take him a while. And there's just no sustainability from T-Res whatsoever once he gets into that mode. He gets taken down, and then the game just breaks down. Right, and they are continuously expecting T-Res to jump on back in to be the damage dealer. It just didn't work out for them, unfortunately. On the other hand, it was the side of Kicks team managing the game so well. Orca, time and time again, the guy is an absolute beast. He knows how to play his timing so well.
Yeah, agree with you, Orca. It feels like the killer whale. Orca, very on point. Snuff out the seal, snuff out the victim, and just waited it out, wait for the opportunity, wait for the team itself. Faction really beautiful play coming from Oka, realizing when to go for the punishment. But it feels like Covalence Reform, they had a good start, they have a good play, but they are going into the wide open space. Who will have the blue star? It will be onto the side of Kick's team. They will start things off with the lead of 1. No death yet. Stage, getting hot. Oh, so low, not down yet. But the tag from the side of Kick's team has been brought down. But this is going to be more of a pokey game. This is more about poking the enemy. Stage gets the bronze up. The trade-off was beautiful.
Kick's team, they know exactly when to respond, and now the turret dropped in here by the Stew. Stitch will get taken down, but he's already served his side. Vex now getting away from all of these shots. Okra taking the third shot and the third kill of this particular matchup, and they're just absolutely thrashing Covalence Reformed at the moment. Awfully bad with a response, but this will be a shot where they are looking for Vex once again. Stitch just flies in for the aggression, absorbing all of this damage, and he needs to back away right now, getting a little bit overexcited, but Stitch, what a play! Flashes away, still drops his life, and that over-aggression might just be the undoing. They now need to find another kill. Orca once again needs to step up.
30 seconds left. Orca, they have to find the opportunity, but we have seen numerous times the tick has been an annoyance. They are rectifying it. Takes him down. Roses, bye-bye. Go back to respawn. They will go for the next one. And they will be able. Oh my god. He's on point. He is a wrecking machine. One after another. He is the hit man for the side of Kick's team. 20 to 14. The tick just get punished.
This is definitely the killer whale in full action today, and Kick's team are looking to perhaps kick Covalence Reformed out of the competition, running totally in, the most fantastic of fashion, because it just does not seem like Kick's team are looking to fall. It's just way too perfect. They are actually holding back at the get-go. They're not going in for the over-aggression. A little bit, of the opposite of what Covalence Reform showed us, especially in the Brawl Ball early on, where the early aggression, and they couldn't just sustain that all the way to the end. Kick's team managed to find, all of those responses as well as answers. But, look at the aggression that Kick's team takes this time around, right? They hold that pressure down in that mid-section of that map, and they continuously drive there in for that shutdown. They buzz as well as Mortis showing up this time around. Let's see exactly what they'll be capable of doing for the side of Kick's team.
This just sounds nasty. And there you go, Oka.
Oh my lord.
Killer well on point. He gets one eye. Feel this is going to be a wombo combo play from the side of Kick's team. You have the Buzz, you have the Mortis, you have the Shelly. Look at this. They will pull one in. They will try, but no. The damage output was good enough for the side of Covalence Reform to take things down, but the Buzz jumps in. Can he bring it down? This is a double-edged strategy coming from Kick's team. They know they are in a very comfortable lead. Why not bring something very risky, high risk, high reward? Can they tie things up? It's 7-11. It's open 24/7. We have a brawl today. It will be by Kick's team going up against Covalence Reform. They jump in. They jump for the kill. But look at that. Roses still alive. Oh my god. The punishment from Covalence Reform, stopping Kick's team from having fun. But Orca not giving up. Never gonna give up. Never gonna let you down. And they jump in one after another. They want to throw the body. They want to do all they can. 40 seconds left. 6-star indifference. Vex still alive. They are pushing it in. They are going for the aggression. And can they tie things up? They need one more. Can they finish it? Oh my god. That was so close for the side of Kick's team. but Covalence Reform hold it to the end. They play it well. They are not gonna let Kicks team to disrespect them. They are gonna say no, not today.
I don't know about that, right? I don't know about that because it just looks like the side of Kicks, they were having fun in that matchup, right? I'm not saying they weren't super serious, but at the same time, they could have been a little bit more, calculated with their moves. They wanted to go in there with the over-aggression. It was not like them at all. Buzz just got a little bit overexcited from the get-go, continuously going in there for the dives. Like you said, it was most of the time a double-edged sword, but it wouldn't have been a double-edged sword if they had played their timings right? The Buzz can't go in there for that rush that early. And we saw exactly what they were doing early on, where Mortis goes in for the first slice, Buzz goes in to finish it off. If they had pulled off that combo all throughout that matchup, I think the results would have been a little bit different. But overall, I think they were just fooling around, and now Orca and Stitch jumping on in. What an opener!
Yeah, definitely opener, and this is going to be really interesting to see. But Rose overextending, fully bad as well. Mortis 7 HP and a dream. Can he survive? No, Rex with a double kill. Can they clean the floor? And they might be able to turn things around. Stitch rolling in, roly-poly, goes in for the hokey-pokey. Will be able to take one down. But I realize the brawlers that they brought in, it is still on the previous patch. They are not running on to the last week patch that's been updated. So you can see Shelly still have the shield. Brock projectile, the 11%, it was a bit hard to see the projectile, but with the Shelly popping off and seeing the shield being popped, this definitely would be the previous patch itself. But we have to go back into the game. The fight, the all-out brawl. Swipe and Mortis going in, trading it up. But who will stand tall? For the best says not today. This is by fight 27-19. Covalence Reform turning the tide around. But the Buzz, T-Raz will be brought down. Overextension, the killer whale. Orca still holding on, but T-Raz once again getting punished. I'm not sure. T-Raz, hold up, calm down. Stable yourself. But so close with the hole. Will not be able to connect that. But look at Rex, the man with no fear. Jump in, Roses still surviving, but being brought down. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, what are we watching? This is an all-out brawl. Left and right, every single second. And Covalence Reform still holds on to what they can. They still fend off the hyper-aggressive. It just feels like an all-out buffet from Kicks team.
Yeah.
But Covalence Reform, really love how they address the aggressiveness of Kicks team.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Roses was instrumental in that fight, right? The guy pulls out his whirlpool, and each and every single time he goes in there for the pull, he manages to get that kill as well. Instrumental, and a few of those defensive whirlpools got popped out as well. And Roses was instrumental not just in going in for those kill and getting, all of the bounty onto their side, but also for those defenses, because there were a couple of moments where the comeback was almost made by the side of Kicks. So, quite instrumental play all the way through for the side of Roses, but it just seems a little bit too close for me, because towards the very end, Uwu, Kicks always manages to come really close, right? But the question is, can Covalence Reform now finish this off? Kicks team once again starting things off well, with Vex going in for the first takedown. Orca has already managed to aggress on forth and pick up that blue star, so the advantage on the side of Kicks team. And now with the 3 on their side, Covalence Reform needs to hustle up. Poco is brought in by Roses this time round, and I believe he will be that instrumental player. Goes in there for the top up of health, allowing them to keep this fight a little longer, but Vex still aggresses on and drops awfully bad.
Yeah, Kicks team, they know that they have been playing around, fooling with Covalence Reform, but they are going back to a safety position. Covalence Reform trying to secure this game, but it feels like Kicks team on The foot, they are jumping in. T-Rex, a good defense. They are holding it on. But Kicks team need to give the respect to the side of Covalence Reform. They might be able to turn things around, but they have to play a bit more careful. Stage, good pops out back, quite low. Have to go for the reset. Meanwhile, Stage on the bot. They are going in. Rose has to be a bit more careful because they might be jumping to the background, but they take down Stage. The aggression has been punished, but the lead is still in the hand of Kicks team. Kicks team answering one fight after another. Covalence Reform. They felt like, okay, this time it's a different Kicks game plan. It's a different play. They are playing much more safer. The communication is coming in. They are spreading the fight. Awfully bad. Has to pop the tag. Has to heal up, but it will not be enough itself. T-Rex will be next. Roses is next. This is just an all-out buffet and an easy pickup game for the side of Kicks team. This is do or die. Kicks team just need one, and they get the 3 points. Covalence Reform needs that one to force to the 4th game itself. Covalence Reform, they might want to play the Hail Mary. They might want to play the risky game. Go to the riskiest game plan that they have. Throw everything out. Just go into the face of Kicks team. This time, Covalence Reform, they have to give no respect to the side of Kicks team. They have to punish.
Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, right, in that particular matchup, it was all about that mech play, right? Jumping into the mecha at that right time with the extra health, you know, it just made them so much more viable in that fight. But this time round, it is a more aggressive effort. But like you said, it could be a double-edged sword. Look at this coming through, right? Orca as well as Wex. This is the perfect assassin combo, and they've got that backup 8-bit in this matchup as well. Let's see exactly what sort of magic they can show us this time round, Uwu.
Yeah, but you have to be careful looking at how Kicks team is playing it out. They are constantly throwing out projectile. They are constantly zoning out Kicks team. And here comes Kicks team. We slay together, we slay together, and we slay Covalence together. Jumps in. No time to lose. Rose, a standing projectile, a standing target for the side of Kicks team, and with that, 11 to 10, 11 to 12 will turn around as Covalence Reform picks that up. 8-bit could be the tank that they need, but it's not tanky enough because look at the amount of damage output coming from the side of Covalence Reform. They are keeping the brawlers, the melee brawlers, in zone.
Yeah, and well, let's see if or not they can continuously do that, because it's way too close for comfort in here. And yes, they do have that range, but that is exactly why Stitch has brought in his own brawler, right? He will be able to respond with that range as well. Drops in the turret and then goes in for that flight once again. And this is that boosted push from the side of Kicks team. Are they going to be able to go in there for the push? Wex goes in for the jump once again. Mistimes that, needs to play this really carefully, but he can be a little aggressive because Orca's right there. Vex gets that drop 17 to 14, and Kicks team looking to finish this off, and I believe it is all over. But Roses, so can they drop Orca? One more! But Wex gets the kill instead, and they finish off strong.
They finish off strong. Kicks team, congratulations to them. They will get the 3 points that they need as they manage to get 3 games away from the side of Covalence Reform. It just feels like Covalence Reform, their run in the ESL Mobile Challenge has come to an end because they can't make it into top 4. But Kicks team, on the other hand, could be in the run for the top 4 itself. It just feels like Kicks team, the first 2 games, they play it based on what they want. The third one, it just feels like they just want to have an all-out brawl. They want to have some fun, and you see how they are jumping it in. The 8-bit with the tag itself, really smart, putting it on the jump pad itself. It launches into the middle of the map. It gives them all the map control that they need, and looking at Covalence Reform, they can't answer that. They saw that, oh
Yeah.
wait, they're moving up front. That's a big jump for them. What can we do? We have to run at the corner, and the moment they start running, Kicks team, they are like a bunch of killer whales. They start to dissect every brawlers from every corner, divide and conquer, and they manage to get and secure the win for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I have never seen a combo wombo this effective before in Brawl Stars, and I think, you know, the side of Kicks, they pull this off to perfection.
Yep.
Yes, this is that recap, ladies, German boys and girls, but a little bit more on that perfection, right? Because that 8-bit, bro, like you said, he goes in there with the super and he drops his gadget. It allows them to go in for a boost in damage, and Edgar as well as Mortis, they already have that significant damage to bring into these fights. But when you go in there with that 8-bit boost, they are absolutely untouchable, and they play their timing. And they are, and you know, Covalence Reform, they kind of knew that in that last matchup. But here's a situation where you know something, but you cannot do anything about it at all, right? And it just feels like throughout the matchup, in Brawl Ball especially, it was a situation like that as well.
Yep, definitely agree with you. And you're talking about the combo wombo on the Mortis itself. It was just perfection, the damage output.
yeah.
Even they are melee going up against ranged brawlers themselves. They were able to put on the pressure. They were able to give no respect. Jump into the back line, get one done, and get the job done. Gets the points on to the game. And let's take at it, like how they are playing it out. Even though they were going for the hyper aggression, they were going for the hyper fight itself. It shows a bit of information. I believe like the second round and third round itself, when Kicks team will bring out the buzz itself, bring out a lot of the close range brawlers. It was an information giver. They know that they can play the close game. They know they can play the upfront, in your face, in full damage itself. And I think they recognized that was an opportunity, and they went for the Hail Mary for the side of Kicks team. They were able to pull it off. But that's the run for the side of Covalence Reform. Congratulations once again to Kicks team. But I think everyone in Asia Pacific, everyone in the whole world might be having their eyes on the next matchup, because it's going to be Zeta division going up against Lil Moyaji.
Woo! And that is definitely one series you guys do not want to miss. We're going to take a quick short break right now, ladies, German boys, girls. Once again, do not miss the next matchup. Don't go anywhere. We'll catch you in a bit.
Before we jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner, so head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Hey, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. It's time, get up.
we jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner, so head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the wait's up. That's how we know when we level up. Hey, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. It's time, get up.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the day that a lot of you Brawl Star fans have been waiting for. My name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Ubu the Magical, bringing you the ESL Mobile Challenge for Brawl Stars. Yes, the day has come where we get to witness two titans of the competition taking each other on. This is gonna be Zeta Division meeting the one and only Lil Moyaji. I do not know what to expect anything other than perfection in here, Ubu.
Just talking about perfection. Who do we look at? Zeta Division, Lil Moyaji, both teams on top of their game.
Oh yeah.
This is just going to be a very, very interesting. I think everyone just want to see this matchup. It's going to be the best out of best. Can Zeta Division claim their dominance in Asia Pacific, or Lil Moyaji, Zeta Division, Tensai Mameshi, a Chappy and Side Tempo will have to defend their honor. Can they slay the Titan? Who will be the best of best? It feels like King Kong going up against Godzilla. Who is the best? Not only for Japan, but for Asia Pacific, and could be global. We have to see who can bring their A game. Top picks, Bell, Stu, and Max. Top band, Ash and Byron. It is going to be very, very down to the line. I don't even think I can rely on the statistic, because the statistic itself shows that they are so close. Dempsey, Coop, Decan, MDE for the side of Lil Moyaji. Tell me about it, AJ. Tell me about these two teams.
Kudi Kenji, MDE, Dempsey, when they represent Lil Moyaji, they represent perfection. They represent absolute destruction in the competition. Poco, Brock, as well as Ash, the top picks. The top bans in here being Leon as well as Tara. They know what the meta has been. And, you know, a lot of teams have taken up the fight against Leon and Tara. And not only have they suffered, but they've, you know, most of the times taken a loss as well. Going up against, you know, brawlers like that in a majority of these matchups where vision is everything, information is king, you know, they are able to manage these fights really well. So with all of that being said, here are your bans. Brock as well as Byron taken off the list by Zeta Division. Lil Moyaji sticking to what they always do. Leon as well as Stu taken out. That Stu that Zeta Division usually plays, you know, is really, really unusually strong. And Lil Moyaji, they see that, they call that out, they take that off of the list. But I think this is a good shot by both of these teams taken out here in the banned brawlers.
Yep, just looking at the brand brawlers, Brock, Byron, Stu, Leon. It's very, very interesting to see how they address the opponent's rank. Stu, especially look at the map rotation in the first 3 maps itself. You need a Stu to break down the walls. They have the capability to throw out the DPS as well. Meanwhile, Brock and Byron, the support, the long range, the damage output, it just feels like both teams, they're rectifying each other's strength. and they are just looking at the opponent weakness. They are looking at what is there on the table to be brought in, and they want to really nail it down, seal the deal. Eventually, both teams, I think they are already into the semi-finals, but it's more about who sits on top, who is winning the game, who is going to be the best out of the best out from Japan, the land from the of rising sun itself.
Hey, look here, man. If Zeta Division takes a 3-0, that puts neither one above each other. They are pegged exactly the same as each other. And I think, you know, even if Zeta Division manages to pull off something crazy like that, we still cannot allow that to, you know, corrupt our minds, to allow us to think that, oh, perhaps the grand finals will end up, or perhaps might end up this way, because this is a grand finals worthy of a matchup. And you know that, Uwu. But Lil Moyaji, they have got zero reasons to go in here and give it their all. Like you said, even if they drop all three, they still make it through to the playoffs.
Totally agree with you. I'm just thinking on to the playoff itself. Even if Lil Moyaji or Zeta Division drop the game, who will be sitting on the first and second? It just splits them apart in the matchup, and they can only meet up most probably in the grand finals. And Zeta Division and Lil Moyaji, I feel like this is going to be more of a scream for them. They want to see what is the strength, what is the power, what is the capability of both teams. And Zeta Division, with a really, really good start, controlling the middle of the map, side tempo, still alive, still holding on. But look at Coop Can from the back and try to go for more and try to go for the 10 side. But 10 side still alive with 615 health. He is holding on, but MDE could be the end. They might just drop the first point to the side of Zeta Division. It's fine. They can go for a reset. They can go for a different ball like up. But in any case, Zeta Division, they want to claim the crown. They want to claim the title and the braggy right to be called the best of the best.
Yeah, I got my doubts about that one particular matchup that Zeta Division is now taken up against Lil Moyaji. I feel like Lil Moyaji could have done more, but they don't want to do more. And I don't expect them to do more at all. I mean, why would you? I mean, both teams want to be at the top. But right now, the structure of this competition, regardless of who takes this win, it does not decide who remains at the top. They both make it through the playoffs. Lil Moyaji has got zero motivation to show any of their strats, any of their strengths to the side of Zeta Division. And I feel like this is the best way for Lil Moyaji to take this fight. Lose a 3-0, keep Zeta Division confused, keep Zeta Division guessing all the way until the grand finals, and then we see a supreme showdown. Risk is that they might get kicked out during the playoffs because some of the other teams might just show up on that day. But who are we kidding, right? Once again, two supreme teams taking this fight up against each other. I see no reason whatsoever for Lil Moyaji to aggress any further than they already have. They did have a setup that could go in there for the access, right? They did have, everything on their side. The Ash especially. But I feel like they were holding back, Uwu.
Yep. Totally agree with you, the whole thing about they might not be playing the full strat itself against Zeta Division because they don't want to throw anything out in the open for the side of Zeta Division and any other team that makes it into the top 4 itself. But I feel that Lil Moyaji, what they can do on top of that strategy is they might want to test out strategies that is not being tested. They might want to test out some one-trick pony game against Zeta Division, because if they meet and match up in the grand finals, they know that this lineup could go up against this lineup. They know that this kind of brawlers can go up against the aggressiveness of Zeta Division. So I feel like Lil Moyaji, they can play the really, really safe game. Don't throw anything out. Drop the 3-0 to the side of Zeta Division. But I feel like they might be able to even get more information by throwing some of the brawlers out to see what could be the possibility to take down Zeta Division. You were saying 2 Titans, but It takes one Titan to know how to defeat another Titan. Can Lil Moyaji
yeah.
snuff out, get the information on the side of Zeta Division?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they went in really early on to get done, right? Lil Moyaji just going in there for the jump. MDE doing really great, getting the out immediately. So you remember earlier on with the previous series, you mentioned that whole poke and prod method that was being brought out in that third map. Yeah, and that is exactly what we will be able to see Lil Moyaji and Zeta Division pull out all through their maps, right? They are going to be poking and prodding at each other to see exactly what works and doesn't. I mean, they can throw bodies, they can take all of the risk in here. I mean, how many times... the best way to put this is, video games personified, right? You go in there and you have got, unlimited number of lives. You can make as many mistakes in here as you want with all of your experiments, just like you pointed out, Uwu, and not have to pay a great price. Zeta Division, yes, they do start the countdown. Lil Moyaji, not phased at all. They are still in here. They are still looking for those kills. And MDE going in for that final slice will be able to find nobody as Zeta Division picks up win number 2. Not a surprise at all so far, Uwu.
Yep, I just feel like that second round itself, Lil Moyaji, they're not even focused into gathering the gem at all. They're not even focused to get the map control. They were just trying to figure out the player matchup, not the brawler matchup, the player matchup. Who can MDE go up against? Who could can go up against? And Dempsey also, who can he go up against? It's more about getting information. I might be able to go up against the side for Zeta Division, but who am I stronger up against? This is what Lil Moyaji is being throwing out, and it feels like for the side of Zeta Division, they might be smelling this, they might be snuffing this out, they might be forcing it to 5 games, 5 rounds. We might be seeing a whole marathon, because I feel like the moment he snuffed this out, the moment they found out about this kind of gameplay coming from Lil Moyaji, they might just think it, alright, since you want to play a script, let's go player matchup. Instead of brawler matchup, it's going to be a player up against player. I think for the next mode, when we go into Brawl Ball, you will see total chaos where you see brawlers everywhere. They're just going to have their own fights that are going up their own matchup. And I feel like the first game itself, it's more of an appetizer for everyone to see, okay, they are not focusing on the objective. They are focusing on their own agenda to snuff out as much information from each team.
You hit the nail right on the head, Uwu. I absolutely agree with you. I think that's exactly what you and I both want, man. Zeta Division to play the exact same game. Yes, we know both of them are able to go all the way in towards the grand finals, but will they be able to go in there with extra information? Tensai once again aggressing into that mid segment of that. The gem spawner will be able to pick up, giving some support as well, trying to take down MDE, sends in a little bit of support to the left-hand side. Tensai trying to get everything done. MDE finally comes through with a play of his own. So let's see if or not this is the time Lil Moyaji wants to wake up Lilo.
Just look at the brawlers. The brawlers that they brought in is all different from each single round itself, and I just feel like they are just testing it out, testing the player matchup, testing out the brawler matchup as well. And look at Zeta. They are not 100% focused on going onto the gem spawner. They are more focused on to getting the brawler itself. And look at Achapi having his own brawl, Tensai having his own brawl, everyone having their own brawl. It is just all out buffet. We are looking at a matchup because just looking at the statistic itself, everything's been thrown out the window. Tensai holding it back, pulling back. Achapi go up, trying to match it up, and Achapi will be able to take down Dempsey. MDE go up against Side Tempo. You look at the matchup, the player matchup, they always switch things around to see. And see, Side Tempo knows that I can't go up against MDE. He might be going for Kubdi can. And Achapi, looking at the whole situation, he might turn things around and say, I am better than Achapi. And Achapi falls down, but the counter has started. 15 seconds left on the clock for them to play around the playground. But Zeta Division turning things around. They are going Hail Mary, jumping in, reset the countdown, and they will have the advantage. Side Temple making a run for it. Kubican going for the push. Dempsey as well try to go for the push, but they might not have the time for it.
Well, Dempsey, one opportunity, one more, and yes, they go in for the reset. Yes, they will pull it back once again. Side Tempo now dropping MDE. Achapi will be able to get that fight. Are they going to be able to aggress on fourth? Kuri Kenji cannot do it all on his own. He needs a little bit of backup. MDE a little late to the party, and this is all over as Zeta Division finishes it off. But you know, the one thing that I was noticing all throughout this matchup was Pam taking on Rosa, and all throughout that match Pam kept winning that fight against Rosa, and I feel like this is is something that Zeta Division is not going to be very happy about. They will need to fix, because like you said, Uwu, and like we've been discussing, no reason whatsoever for both of these teams to go in here and push for the win. It makes no difference to them at all, but information is key, information is king, and I think they have just found out something that is gonna help both sides, right? Number one, they, you know, for the side of Zeta Division, they know that Pam is gonna be a problem, and Rosa, even with all of her tankiness, could not put up with that. The turret was just way too annoying. Not only is it healing up that Pam, it's healing her allies in there as well, making them way too tanky in that gem spawner area, and they had to fight her off. The moment they disabled that Pam, Zeta Division kind of got to reign on that map a little bit more. And I feel like Lil Moyaji didn't really expect this third round to go in that way. I feel like they put in way more effort in comparison to the first two rounds. And Zeta Division punished them at that very final moment because they saw exactly what was that problem. Pam was it, took her out of the equation. Pam, give me back my gems, and they took this 3-0. It is a surprise that Lil Moyaji, I don't think, was expecting. I think they wanted to push that all the way to the fifth one.
Yep, totally agree. Definitely feels like Little Moyaji tried to force answer out. It just feels like, all right, they recognize one. As well as say, the Pam itself could be a problem. What could be a good counter to Pam? Could it be an assassin that can jump into the backline? Could it be the stew itself that going to be the equation? Could it be the answer as well? Because you can see how Stu jumps in real aggressive. Even a Buzz or even an Ash could be a solution against the Pam itself. So it looks like both teams experimenting, finding a bit of loophole, finding a bit of information here and there. It's more about harvesting information in this matchup, and I feel like both teams, they're gonna go all full out just to harvest as much information before they move on, because the top four itself, when they move on to that point, it's really do or die. There's no more testing. It's all about bringing the strategy, bringing the aggression, and showing no mercy at all. But to put that in a rest, we are going into Brawl Ball. We're going into a mode. I feel like it's going to be much more interesting. It feels like brawlers that is going to be out of the blue. You might not even see some of the brawlers being brought in to be even tested it out onto Brawl Ball, because if Brawl Ball is the one of the first few starting mode in the top four itself, it's going to throw off a lot of people. Like, how are they going to play it out? How are they going to maneuver around the map itself and try to score the goal?
Do you think Lil Moyaji will be looking to push this all the way to a fifth matchup? Because you see, this particular game can be played both sides, right? Information that Lil Moyaji wants to go in here and collect for themselves can be collected from the side of Zeta Division as well. And, you know, it just takes one spoil spot to throw this whole plan to the side, right? One team just not going in, giving their all, just playing a random strat out there. But this is the two supreme Japanese sides that, have always gone in here and pushed themselves out there to the max. And we can be rest assured we just won't be seeing that. The best of the best of the best will be coming through. And all of their tests, once again, seems to be, pretty matched up well. Crow getting taken down, and that is the reason that was being looked for the side of Lil Moyaji. MDE now with that aggression. Kudi Kenji holding down this side. Will need to right back up in here. But the fight is looking good so far. Zeta Division, they already have one goal. Going in for the second, and will not be able to find that just yet.
Yep, just looking at Zeta Division, they are not even really faced to even try to score a goal. They're trying to match up as much as possible, and I feel Lil Moyaji might not go the distance. They might want to keep it because the first set is out. They figure it out. All right, this could be a solution. This could be an upset, but they want to keep the information as less as possible for the side of Zeta Division. And just look at Zeta Division. They kind of start to smell something fishy from the side of Lil Moyaji. This time, they are playing a bit more passively from the side of Lil Moyaji. And Zeta Division, they feel like, alright, since I want to play a bit more passive, we're going to go for the finisher, we're going to go for the juggler, close things off and finish as soon as possible, because we know we're going to stop playing the information gathering, because it feels like Lil Moyaji, they stop it immediately because they know Zeta Division starts to smell it out. Alright, no more matchup, no more information gathering. We're gonna try to finish it as soon as possible. Thank you for the information, and I hope I get given enough information as well. You meet in the top 4 itself, and it could be the whole situation. But I just feel like Lil Moyaji might not force into the all 5 games. They might just want to drop it and just move on and see what kind of things they can plan in the off time.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so far you can push this, right? It needs you need two hands to clap, and I think Zeta Division will be sporting enough to come in here and clap along with Lil Moyaji. But at the end of the day, friendship aside, sportsmanship aside, it is a competition that they are trying to bang some really big prize pool here on. At the end of the day, they don't really want to give away too many of their plays. And Zeta Division, they have been serious from the get-go. Lil Moyaji, although they realize it, the question now is going to be, can they do anything about it, right? Or do they even want to do anything about it? Because I feel like in the matchup that we just saw at Brawl Ball, Lil Moyaji seems to have woken up a little bit, but it just seems like Zeta Division has managed to overpower them. We need to analyze this just a little bit further, Owu, because if this is the side of Lil Moyaji giving it their all, we might just be seeing a premonition of the grand finals, because Zeta Division, remember, the only blemish on their record so far was not really a defeat.
Yep, totally. Zeta Division cannot lose. They kind of walk over for feet because they were unable to attend to the game. But for the side of Lil Moyaji, I just feel like super passive, super defensive. They are not thinking much about it, and you can see Zeta Division runs with the somewhat similar of brawlers that they have in mind in the first round. Side of Lil Moyaji doing the same, and they know, okay, let's just play the game, let's just finish it as soon as possible, and the information gathering situation is over. We might, as you say, super analyze this a bit more, but both sides, they are just gonna try to just end the game and know, okay, no more information gathering. You say it needs 2 hands to clap, and Lil Moyaji doesn't want to clap back with Zeta Division, and it feels like it's just going to be a one-side game. Zeta might want to push it a bit more and just go for the super aggressive, but player matchup. We are going back to the player matchup. Side tempo takes out Kutkan. Can they go for Dempsey? Dempsey could be really low. Has to go back for reset. MDE just picking out behind that obstacles, but here comes smoke itself. Oh, Dempsey, good snipe. Pushing in for aggression. Tenzai, on the other hand, will clear the ball towards the center. Kubdi Ken thinking, do he want the ball or do he want the brawler?
Side Tampos just being such a pain to deal with, and Kuri Kenji now almost getting taken down, but MDE to the rescue. Achape, beautiful plays between the two of them, and now MDE will be pressured off. He cannot take this fight up against this Morris, will need to back away. Tensai, on the other hand, taking care of Kuri Kenji. I mean, great sandstorm pulled off earlier on in that midsection to allow the side of Lil Moyaji to aggress on fourth, but Side Tampo has been playing his supers to the T, and now one more should be able to take Dempsey out of the equation. Side Tampo once again the playmaker for the side of Zeta Division, leaving the ball in their corner. They move on up to see if or not they can clear out the division, leaving a Sharpie now to push the ball up a little bit slowly. 12 more seconds left on the clock. It looks like this will be pushed on to an overtime.
Yeah, this could be an overtime, but look at the
Lord,
positioning
what?
of Side Tempo, and that is it. Match is over. There's no even time for the side of Lil Moyaji to come back for the overtime. But just looking at the positioning, I think Lil Moyaji was caught a bit off guard on the ending of that positioning. Side Tempo just ran up straight and said, okay, let's just end it. It's more about information gathering. It's over. No more information gathering for the side of Lil Moyaji. Can you just play the game? Can you like give us the lowdown? Can you give us your strategy? Like give us the information. Zeta Division this time, I think they feel a bit frustrated. It feels like they are trying to force Lil Moyaji to play the game. I feel like Lil Moyaji is just very sneaky. They play the mental game with Zeta Division.
Yeah, and you know, there's just nothing Zeta Division can do about this. Yes, they can try to bait them in. I feel like, you know, it was to a certain degree played a little bit better by Lil Moyaji this time around. And I absolutely hate them right now, by the way, because they're making it so difficult for me. Because I mean, we don't know whether or not this is really what Lil Moyaji is capable of doing. Let me, you know, go ahead and once again remind everyone, Lil Moyaji has been this perfect team that has dropped no match whatsoever in the sets that they have taken. And, you know, and here they come, dropping into Zeta Division. And they seem to be dropping again. Is it really because Zeta Division is all that good? Because we can't take anything away from Zeta Division. Look at their composition. Look at their brawler lineup. They are really going in there and they're serious. They're taking the fight up against Lil Moyaji. And I feel like in your own words, Ubu, Lil Moyaji trying to frustrate the side of Zeta Division. I don't know if that's working, but they're frustrating me, my friend.
It definitely feels like Lil Moyaji is playing the no information. The first round, it was full information. You can see it was super aggressive from both sides. The moment we walk into Brawl Ball, it's like it feels like Lil Moyaji is like, okay, let's just put an open-ended question. Are we playing or are we just, you know, letting you play, forcing you out, playing the mental game, frustrating the open? It just feels like Zeta Division. Agree with what you said. Frustration, not only to you, I think Zeta Division is frustrated. I'm frustrated to see what is Lil Moyaji doing. Are they like trolling the top team?
Here's the problem.
Are they trolling?
I thought at moments they were trolling, but I think they, at one point in the game, they wanted to play it as well, right? And I don't think they wanted to troll it to this level. Side Tampo was the pain. That Spike was the absolute annoyance in that matchup. This time round, it's going to be Frank brought in by Side Tampo. Will he be the playmaker once again? Then Side now, he will have the mobility out on that map. And MDE will be able to obscure, pulls out the sandstorm in the nick of time, but will not be able to get away from that Poco. Side Tampo drops Kuri Kenji as well. And Zeta Division now just backing the ball away. They're not even going to take the goal, bro.
I think away. Cookie can! Wow! What a save! But I feel like what you can do in this kind of situation when you get frustrated, You frustrate your enemy. You frustrate them. Look at them. They want to score, but it feels like, all right, Lil Moyaji this time is playing the game. This time, wait,
come
are you
on.
playing it this time,
Come
or are you
on.
like not playing it this time? And I feel like it's getting into the head of Zeta Division. Zeta Division pulls out this brawler lineup. They pull out the Ash, they pull out the Frank, so they pull out the Poco as well. It just feels like this time, Zeta Division, they want to really frustrate Lil Moyaji. They want to give them a taste of payback, and this could be it. They are putting up real good fight. MDA holding it on, but that is it. That's the end of Brawl Ball. But it feels like Zeta Division, they are forced into that. I'm not saying Zeta Division is bad, because both teams, they are equally great, the best in Asia Pacific. But just looking at how they play the mind games, it's affecting us. The caster is affecting me, it's affecting AJ. It's like,
I'll
What
tell you why
are-
it's
are they
affecting
playing?
me more. I'll tell you why it's affecting me more, okay? It's affecting me more because I'm not going to shoutcast the grand finals with you, Ubu. I'm not going to be here with you. I've got other stuff to get done. And this is the final time I get to watch these two guys play, man. And unfortunately, I don't get to see Lil Moyaji going all out. I wanted to see a little bit of that, but I understand exactly where they're coming from.
Yep.
Once again, too much is on the line, and these are two supreme titans of the competition taking this fight up against each other. There is no way they are going to be giving away all of their strategies or their silver players. There's absolutely no way. So this is something that we expected. And I think that, yes, we are having fun with the matchup, but I want to see Lil Moyaji now do a little bit of Zeta Division, right? I want to see Lil Moyaji push this into a game number 5. Come on, Lil Moyaji, for me, please. Please. It's my last day here, bro. Okay, not last day. I'll be casting tomorrow as well. But for me to, catch the both of you guys in action, this is the last time before season 3. Come on. Yeah, we need to see set number 5. And I'm going to be a sad boy if I don't see that. I don't care if they lose.
it just feels like we put them on a very high benchmark way before this matchup. But if the standing statistic for Lil Moyaji and Zeta Division were not on top of the standing, this whole game might be a different ball game. It could be an all-out fight. It could be an all-out fighting for survival for Zeta Division. It could be an all-out fighting for survival for Lil Moyaji. But it feels like this set, it feels like they are giving it all they can. It feels like two teams, they want to give all they can. They feel like, all right, we play too much. I guess we have to put on a great fight for everyone to see, at least for one set. And this could be the set just based on the brawler matchup. It feels like it's going to be a 50-50%. Both teams giving all they can. Pokey. Zeta Division still holding on top, but Ochapi gets down Coop Decan. Lil Moyaji has to go for the reset. They are thinking Coop Decan jumps in. Overextending way too early. I think the communication was a bit in shambles when Coop Decan jumps into that fight. But they are resetting. Look at them. They are resetting, holding the line, making the push weight all together. But Zeta Division recognize that and falls back together. Everybody, we are getting a fight.
Well, let's see if or not they'll step it up because Dempsey goes in for the chase, but Sai Tampo just reels him in and shuts him down. It's going to be Tensai now with the aggressive push on the tick, and it will be way too easy. Tensai, aggressive tick, will be able to get that support coming through from Kuri Kenji. Dempsey pulled in once again, and Zeta Division finishes off this particular matchup. And all throughout that fight, Dempsey just needed to hook one good one in and allow that Piper to finish it off. but it just seems like Lil Moyaji weren't given the access, and a majority of these parts, Lil Moyaji didn't really take the fight up against the side of Zeta Division very aggressively at all. They just were on the defensive side a majority of the time. Only till the very end did they actually go in there for the push. And that's not gonna work. I'm getting a little bit more frustrated here. Uwu. I want a set number 5.
I do agree with you. I want to see the set number 5 between Lil Moyaji and Zeta Division. But it just feels like Zeta Division, they are slowly turning up the band. They are slowly churning up what they can. And Zeta Division as well, they are just looking at how it's being played. The same composition, same line-up. You can see they are taking it much more seriously compared to the first and second set. Zeta Division, they might pull out what they have. This could be what we will be seeing in the grand finals. Just only this set, the first 2 sets, I don't think it's more about a grand final game. It's more like a scream game. But this set alone, it feels like both teams giving all they can. Zeta Division with 5 stars. Meanwhile, Lil Moyaji have 3 stars in hand. Aggression from both sides. You can see Lil Moyaji a bit more aggressive. They are pushing up way forward. And he can get onto a Chape. MDE tries to go onto Tensai, but Tensai has a backup for Side Tempo. Side Tempo gets popped down by Kupticat, but Kupticat survive. Tensai Side Tempo has to be a bit more careful. They are thinking about it. I think we have a real fight between these 2 teams.
Oh, well, let's see exactly what they'll be able to pull off in here. MDE gets taken down, a Chappie, but it's a 10-10 so far. Dempsey needs to be able to secure this for himself. MDE, we need to find one tick super that comes in here for the change. And a Chappie will be able to fly away, but if they can go in for the chase and shut him down at that landing spot, that might be the play that they will be looking for. A Chappie now taking down Kuri Kenji, and Zeta Division finally break it away towards the very end. Side Tampo manages to take down MDE before getting traded out, and this just could be all over. Kuri Kenji, he just goes in for that super just to close down that gap, and now 3 more seconds, but Achapi gets that final kill and secures, guarantees the win for the side of Zeta Division.
I am afraid for Lil Moyaji a bit. I'm a bit afraid. Just looking at how they were a bit more serious in this matchup. They were going back and forth a bit on the poking of damage itself. But Zeta Division, they recognize this time they want a good fight. If we give them a good fight, Zeta Division knows how to reset, turn around, make a rotation. They always play the 2 against 1 games, the number of games against Lil Moyaji. And I feel that could be a problem for the side of Lil Moyaji. I think they recognize 2-on-1 could be a problem. They tried to go for 2-on-1 from the side of Lil Moyaji onto Zeta Division. There was always a backup coming in. So Lil Moyaji might want to push the envelope. They might want to push the whole situation where they go all in. You can see the map being brought in. You can see how they are going to play. Much more aggressive on MDE.
I love it. Every single time Meg drops into these matchups, I just love it. I want to just wait for her to pull that mecha out. A lot more durability in that midsection of that map to take this fight up. MDE needs to play this mechanically well. They do have the Byron on their side as well. And of course, Kuri Kenji playing onto that Viper. A good takedown by Achapi will just put the side of Zeta Division forward. And here comes the tick bomb. Side Tampo now playing this to perfection. Is he going to be able to find anyone? He is taken down onto the right-hand side there. Yes, MDE finally pulls out that mecha, and this will be that opportunity for them to now go in for the burst. But we talked about the weakness of this Meg. The burst is going to be there, but the reload way too slow. Tensai should be able to manage this fight any day of the time.
Yeah, the reload is a bit slow, but in the next patch itself, it will be updated to be a bit more faster. It gets at least 1 reload in the chamber itself, so it's going to be much more viable. I think Lil Moyaji is running a meta that is for the next patch itself, and Zeta Division, They are looking at how to play this out. How are they going to absorb it and how they take down MDE. MDE goes down by side Tempo, very, very sneaky. But MDE going for the push. Then they know this is the end. This is the end for them. Not much can be done, but enough information, enough of the game plan that they have. I think both teams has gathered and harvested enough information when they go in for the playoff itself. Zeta division going in clean, tying things off with Lil Moyaji. They sit on top. Zeta division, they might have slain the Titan today, but can they do it again? This is going to be a question for them. Can they repeat the same strategy that they have when they meet up against Lil Moyaji? And we would love to see. I know me and I can't cast that game. I know that you won't be casting the game itself, but I want to see what will happen between these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, the exact thing that we talked about has happened, man. Zeta Division has taken the 3-0, and now they're all equal. And what better way to take the playoffs, to set up the grand finals, perhaps, with both of these supreme teams standing toe-to-toe, face-to-face, eyes locked, and there's just absolutely nothing dividing them except for the fact that Zeta Division now has a 3-0 over Lil Moyaji. I don't know if or not I want to say that Lil Moyaji gave it their all. Yes, it did look like some of these fights, they were going in a little bit more seriously. But I feel like all the way through, Lil Moyaji was getting all of that information. Zeta Division, on the other hand, they managed to get zero information off of Lil Moyaji, I believe. I think maybe, okay, not maybe zero. One sort of information. Final matchup at Purple Paradise, but apart from that, it was just Lil Moyaji collecting all of that information. Information is king, my friend. I wonder if that is going to set them up for the grand final. But, you know, as we were taking Brawl Ball, it seemed like Lil Moyaji woke up a little bit, didn't it?
Yep, definitely they woke up a bit more. But Zeta Division, they just want to end it as fast as possible. They want to give less information for the side of Lil Moyaji to walk away with. But it feels like they try their best to fish out information. But Lil Moyaji got the best out of it. They got the whole premium package. They got every single thing. They chip in for the information. They walk away with the information. They lost the matchup. It's fine. They walk away with the most important, as you said. Information is king, and they got all the information they needed. And Zeta Division could be a bit frustrated at this moment, but I think what Zeta Division can look forward is if Lil Moyaji is gonna play this game, Zeta Division can play the no respect, can show that. Fine, you're gonna take all the information. We're gonna make a new rule book. We're gonna make a new strategy book. We're gonna rewrite history. It could be from today onwards, we're gonna change things up.
Well, see, here's the thing about Zeta Division as well, right? Initially, we were seeing those adjustments come through from both sides on the first map as we went into Gemford. But after that, Zeta Division, they were just maintaining their, lineup match after match. And I feel like this is the part where Zeta Division was just locking all of that information down. But here are the standings after we finish off the second last day in here. Zeta Division is sitting down on the very top, and a Lil Moyaji behind them, but both of them have qualified to the grand finals in here. And of course, the dream for the rest of the teams will still be alive as we move the competition into tomorrow, because we do have, a lot of questions that have left here unanswered. Crazy Lagoon going up against Icebarn, that is going to be a really good one, because Crazy Lagoon can either equal up and, put Icebarn into a tie, or Iceman can really retire Crazy Lagoon from the competition. Team Flash and Asphyxia, Team Flash isn't really going to get eliminated, but Asphyxia can perhaps hold them back tomorrow and keep them locked in a tiebreaker situation, because that's just going to pit 4 teams up there at the top with 9 points each, and that's going to be a crazy situation to end up with.
Yep, totally agree with you. I'm just looking at the statistics, just looking at the numbers itself based on the rounds and everything. Kicks team, they are not out in the woods to qualify. Zeta Division and Lil Moyaji, definitely they are qualified. But Iceman, they have to do all they can. If they really want to secure it, they have to win against Crazy Lagoon. But if Iceman want to do an upset and try to play a mental game against Kicks team and push them out, Iceman might lose the game, and it could be Iceman might be eliminated, but I think Crazy Lagoon could go on to win it. But I don't know, just looking at the statistics and just doing a bit of numbers crunch, it feels like Iceman might need it. They can play what they did in the play-ins and let Crazy Lagoon slide in, but it could be a risky one. For the side of Team Flash, I feel like they have to do all they can to win against Asphyxia, and that is going to buy them a ticket into the finals. But I don't really have to see how tomorrow unfolds. We have to see how Team Flash is going to perform against Asphyxia, Iceman against Crazy Lagoon. I just don't want it to be a Mexican standoff. We have 4 teams tied up. It goes down to the line on how many rounds they won. It's just going to be a lot of numbers crunching, and I feel like it's going to be a really hard stopper for a lot of teams. But it all ends tomorrow, because after tomorrow I feel like we have 4 teams. We already know today 2 teams, the 2 Titan from Japan moving forward. Who is joining them tomorrow? Who is the last them into the finals?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Today we could have had teams holding back. Tomorrow is do or die for all of the teams out there. Each and every single one of them will be giving it their best, except Asphyxia. But there's just one thing I want to tell them. Kalah tak apa, style mesti ada. If you want to go out, you gotta go out in style. And we are expecting a lot from Asphyxia in Season 3. Can they set up a great Season 3 by taking down Team Flash in here tomorrow, just to gridlock all of us into a crazy situation where majority of teams there have just 9 points? Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tomorrow is the final day, so please do catch us there. Uwu, tomorrow it's gonna be legendary, but unfortunately I won't be able to get that show done with you. Thank you so much, brother man. You have been amazing on the show so far. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for the likes and shares as well. Take care. We'll catch you guys.
Before we jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner, so head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the wait's up. That's how we know when we level up. Hey, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up. Level up.